and I'm trying to get, okay, he gives me a 2 and 1. Now he's got to pummel out somehow, get some other position. Right? So we're playing with different positions. Right? So you'd have to work out of this one. Because I can start manipulating his body, right? And grabbing your wrist is fine too, especially if I can get in with head position. Is clenching basically, just anything from a wrist grab to a whole body lock is kumichi. So that includes like grabbing the sleeve and stuff. Like generally at seminars, you hear kumichi and they do this. Right? Or worse, they do this, which is meaningless. I'm in a bad position. So if you're training at a seminar, get in a good position to start with, right? So if you're the uge, right? So the way I understand kumichi, as far as I can tell, is you want access between his arms and his body. If his arms are in the way, he can create space and prevent it, right? So like Taioki is basically like escaping the clinch. So you create space and you break the grip. If you want to engage, then you do the opposite of that. You try to close off space for the opponent, you try to establish grips. So the grips doesn't necessarily mean your hands come together. It's grips on his body in certain ways. And while you can grab the clothes, especially this being Alabama, we like 75% of the year wearing a t-shirt, right? I mean, it's February and it was like 65 today. So I like to look at it first as a way that you don't have to rely on the clothes to grab on and maneuver. So I'm trying to get a dominant position which includes this getting between his body and his arm, right? So his first line of defense is his hands. So if I want to grab onto him, he just puts his hands out. That, or he can push against my chest, and I can't get my grip. Next is his elbows. He can use his elbows as a shield to create space. So if I'm like trying to grab, it can be a frame up here where it makes it difficult. And then lastly, his head is the last line of defense. I don't know if you've seen this, so go ahead and grab. Go ahead. If I got head position, I can prevent a lot of stuff just through the head. And keeping the head like in this pocket, it's not absolutely necessary, I think, like to have the head so low, but the main point is to get your hips lower than the opponent so that you can have more leverage to move his body. If he's lower than you, he has more leverage. If he's closer to the ground, center of gravity is closer, right? So that's kind of the goal, is to get past his defenses and get access to his body. So we'll get 2 primary ties, or I'm sorry, four ties. So one is called underhook, where I'm coming up under the upper arm and grabbing on the front of his deltoid, and my elbow is kind of high, and I'm trying to isolate this arm. What we're really looking at is, if he had a weapon on the side, can he get it from this arm? So I'm preventing weapon access with that arm for thinking real life, right? So this is an underhook, I'm going under his arm, hooking on. Overhook is I'm going over his arm and hooking like at the end of the tricep where his elbow is, and then cinching that down. Another way you can look at this is just hooking this way. And wrestlers call that a wizard, where you get here and cut in with this bone and like have it up high. And that prevents some of the control he'll have with the underhook. So if he underhooks me, part of the counter is I can start to overhook, wizard this to prevent some of his control over me here. So we got 2 hooks, overhook, underhook, right? The other ones is, maybe I got this, but the other arm I want to control, so I might have a bicep tie where I'm preventing something at his bicep, or a wrist tie. Okay, so we got 2 hooks, 2 ties for 4. Those are probably the best because they prevent his arms from getting access to weapons. But they're not the only ones. Those are like the most important ones. Then you have things like body locks where you skip that and you just grab hold of their body, right? Somehow. Whether it's that way, sometimes you might have double underhooks and you lift high on the spine or you capture low on the spine. In the middle is not so good. Here, I've got some leverage over the spine, and here I've got some leverage over the spine. In the middle, I really don't have either. Okay? I know this is all conceptual, but for now. So low on the spine, high on the spine. Clinch work would also include headlocks, although they're not that great. They don't really do much. One thing you can do is a collar tie where you grab the back of their head, press your elbow into their chest, and pull your hand kind of towards you to manipulate their spine and get their head down. This makes it harder for them to see. And of course you can do it 2 sides at the same time, right? But that doesn't prevent hands from getting weapons. So that's a less favored one. Let's see. So 2 hooks, underhook, overhook. Now we're talking about 3 ties: bicep tie, wrist tie, collar tie. We talked a little bit about body locks. Then there's also like a 2-on-1 on the arm. So you get 2 hands on one in any really position, inside or outside. Inside or outside. This might turn into a short lock. This also, you can do double wrist ties on the same hand, like especially if you had a knife in that hand, to prevent him from really using that knife. Right? Let's see if there's anything else. Anything from last year that I'm forgetting? I think those are the main ones. As far as tie-ups and position.
Would like the seatbelt tie be a
yeah. So if I have something like this, I might switch to where I grab around his hips. So like a seatbelt. This is especially useful if I go for a hip throw, right? Yeah. I think that might be the main ones. And of course, you can do this type of stuff from behind too, like get a body lock or an over-under, right? Maybe a tie this way, half Nelson is somewhat useful. This also prevents him from accessing weapon on that side, right? So behind as well. So if you're in the front, you might do throws, or you might do like a wrist lock or something, depending on how his body is oriented. One slightly better strategy is to get to his back and escape. Because then he's not in front of you where he can hit you and kick you, knee you, pull out weapons, stab you, shoot you. Anyway, those are the basic positions. And the basic idea is get that inside control where you've got access here is best. And then head position and hips under you. So that I can effectively manipulate his body, and he has less chance of that, of manipulating my body. Make sense so far? It's all theory. So the first drill is I've got an underhook, he's got an underhook on the same side. I'm overhooking his underhook, he's overhooking my underhook. And so what I want to do from here is this is a pummel drill. I'm going to take this arm, create a little space, drive down with the blade of my forearm and my whole body, and try to get an underhook on that same arm. Same time he's doing the same thing on his side. So we're here, boom, and we end up in this kind of same position again. So pummel, and then we pummel, and we pummel, and then we pummel. And so we're just, the goal here is to, as soon as you feel your underhooked on the side, is to automatically go for like the repummel and get your arm underhook. Because you don't want him to have that excess. Does that make sense? So you can start this out as a nice easy flow. It's a good way to warm up and get the blood flowing. Then as you get comfortable with it, especially the coordination of it, you can start to go a little bit faster. Or you can lock down a little bit harder and make them really work. Like if you had a wrist grab, pummeling is that, right? We've done that before, Tadoki, and then re-grab. If you're caught in the body lock, you may not be able to re-pummel. You have to create space and then pummel. Right? Break, like if he's got a body lock, then my first bit may have to be to break that grip, and then I can re-pummel and do something. Right? But good drill. Take your time with this. Like, don't work too hard, especially if it's new. Is we can start over under, but now like you pummel for whatever position you want, right? So we go, and I'm trying to get, okay, he gives me a 2 and 1. Now he's got to pummel out somehow and get some other position, right? So we're playing with different positions, right? So you'd have to work out of this one. Because I can start manipulating his body, right? And grabbing your wrist is fine too, especially if I can get in with head position. Okay, make sense? So you're kind of playing for position, to get a dominant position, to get control, like underhook, overhook. Underhook's preferred. Bicep tie, wrist tie, maybe 2 and 1. Maybe 2 and 1 on the arm. Maybe like you're in here and it's like, okay, let me drop down for a body lock. That's allowed. Or if you're really good at this leg, you get a 2 and 1 tie up, where this hand is now free. And he's got to work himself out of that, right? Because I can hit, elbow, pull out a weapon. There's a couple ways, ideally, like escaping to the back is probably the best strategy. Because then I'm away from his limbs, I'm away from his weapons. Again, I don't want to break contact here because the punch is right there, right? If I do have to break contact here, boom, I get the hit first. I'm gonna punch my way out. Just like if if we're doing like a Tadoki, boom, pop, 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 as I escape. Right? I don't wanna let my guard down because too good of a chance that he can start engaging again too. So if I can avoid breaking contact in front, I prefer that. So two ways to get to his back, or to escape to his back. And if you get to his back, then it's your choice whether to control him or to escape. Right? So first one is it's called an arm drag. So I'll let go of my underhook, feed this across, grab behind his elbow. So I don't want to be down on his forearm. Be behind his elbow. I'm just going to drag that across, and I can actually use that hand to help steer it. Because a lot of times if his arm is straight, I get caught here. So I'll actually use that to steer it. So I'll throw that hand as I drag his elbow across, and now I can get to his back. From there I can escape or I can grab or whatever. Hit. So as a drill to learn how to do this, he's just going to take his hand, he's going to reach out and touch me on the back. Right? Take my same side hand, feed his wrist, grab, step. And the other side, step. You can step behind if you want to escape. So here, if I step with this foot behind, it's more escape, like to run. If I want to control, I step in front and collide. Then I've got my choice. right, of what I do. But the basic drill, he reaches, and if you can avoid going the whole way, then don't worry about going the whole way. Yeah, that way you get a lot of reps, and then we go to the other side, and the other side. Remember, throw the hand. Okay, and just practice this arm drag drill to get used to this motion of throwing. You drag the elbow, hook. I'm not grabbing on anything, just hooking, and I'm pulling it across all the way. So not really pulling it. You can pull it towards you sometimes, but the basic is across. Okay? Is you've got to break that first and then go. Don't think of, okay, I'm just going to grab here and then throw it across it just to get stuck. So you actually have to do teodoki with it. And that's part of the reason you throw that, is that as you come around, you get on top and then it throws it out of the way. Right? So that's just a detail that comes up in training. Second escape, we'll start on this side first. I get here and I want to, there's two things, like maybe my head's on this side of him. If it's there, just lift this up, drop your level, and come back and cut the corner and get to the back. So these are duck unders. So if my head is on the side of the wrist tie, then I just want to lift this up, drop my own level, come up through the back, then I've got it back, and I can escape, I can attack. If he's got my wrist, but I've still got this, and my head's on the wrist tie side, same thing. And you just peel it off with your body. It works the exact same way. If my head is on the underhook side, here, lift this elbow up, drop my level, come through the same way. So my head is on the underhook side. I'm going to lift my elbow up, drop my hips down, face as best I can this way, and then turn. Most common mistake I've seen on this is when they want to go, they just do kind of this type of thing. Now my head's in my own way. So really, you duck under, place your own arm above your head, face like 180 degrees to his front, then turn into him. Because two things happen. You turn to him, you get his back, but it forces him to give you his back. Right? So, like you're not trying to move around him. It's not a situation where I'm here and then I'm trying to go and chase around because he'll move. Right? So, duck under, move, and then drive into him. He'll automatically turn. And then you can do whatever you need to do. So, start over under and loose, nice and light. So, as we kind of go for position and stuff, look for opportunities to pull off those moves. Look for the duck under, allow yourself to find the arm drag, find the duck under, so that you can kind of integrate it into your overall skill set. Okay? Pretty easy. Nice and easy, like 20% resistance. Not super compliant, but definitely not super compliant, but not super resistant either. This is more about seeing it than really executing it. You can't execute it if you can't see it. So try to see, there's the arm drag. Pretty much anytime, like his hand is extended, here we go. Right? But it's not screwed. And all the other positions are available to you. Here. Check. Boom. As you take this, step out this way. Right? And that sort of brings the hand to you. Sometimes. Not all lot of the time. If it's too far away, don't bother with it. Like, don't try to don't boom, because there's a moment where he's just standing there, right? And you take him this way. That helps you get this. So you start with this, but he already notices it. Then it's this one. So you're changing his attention. Okay? So, one more time. Alright, let's do this one. Check. Oh. You get here. That starts it. And then you take this, but he's like fighting that. And you take that, the Gansekanage again. So it's like here and here and here. But when you take the step, so you can take the step kind of out to bend him a little bit. You okay?
Yeah, that was weird.
Okay.
Let's switch around.
So, alright, let's do it from again. It's more out this way. Even if you don't get a motegaku proper, give him something to think about, and then you take him with the Gansekanage.